T-Mobile gives you more ways than ever to get out there with America's largest 5G network and the epic iPhone 12 with 5G on us. Whether you're hitting the road,
check out this great 4K video. I even posted it with 5G way out here.
or getting the team together. Right now, current and new customers get up to 4 iPhone 12s on us on our Max plan with eligible trade-ins. Only at T-Mobile.
Each phone on us via 24 credits plus tax for well-qualified buyers. If you cancel credit, stop, and balance on required finance agreements may be due. Contact us. See 5G coverage, access, and offer details at T-Mobile.com.
Moving day means that you and your things are in for a big transition. There's a lot to figure out. New closets, different counter space, change of floor plan. No worries. CubeSmart is here to help make your move as easy as possible. Online or in person, CubeSmart provides a self-storage experience that puts the focus on you because you matter most. Moving can be costly, and that's why CubeSmart is offering up to 25% off your monthly rent. Say goodbye to moving stress and hello to your new address with CubeSmart Self-Storage. Visit CubeSmart.com for more details.
With Allagash White now available in 12 packs, no matter if your next adventure sounds like this, onward, or like this, you can count us in. Allagash Brewing Company. From Maine, with love. Must be 21 years or older. Please drink responsibly.
Be sure to catch live editions of The Ben Maller Show weekdays at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific. Be sure to catch live editions of The Ben Maller Show weekdays at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific. On Fox Sports Radio and the iHeartRadio app.
Kaboom!
If you thought 4 hours a day, 1,200 minutes a week was enough, think again. He's the last remnants of the old republic, a sole bastion of fairness. He treats crackheads in the ghetto gutter the same as the rich pill poppers in the penthouse.
Wow.
The clearinghouse of hot takes break free for something special. The Fifth Hour with Ben Maller starts right now.
In the air, everywhere. We are back at it again. Welcome into the Magic Podcast Machine. The hot microphone is on right now, slaving away over that hot microphone here at the podcast studio. The Fifth Hour with Ben Maller, as you know, because you're listening right now. Heard every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It is a standalone podcast via the iHeart Podcast Network and available wherever you get your podcasts. And so we thank you for finding the program. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. And we are joined again by west of the 405, David Gascon is here.
What's up? What's up, Ben?
No crowd noise today, huh? Interesting.
Taking a day off. I guess they're hanging out doing something else. It's been a busy couple days for the crowd.
Yeah.
Some of them here, some of them in Iowa, you know, supporting White Sox and Yankees.
Yeah. So here's the deal. So you had Bruce Feldman. We had him on yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Great conversation. And then you sullied it at the end. You ruined it at the end with blatant slobbering all over your hero.
Who?
Colin Cowherd in his restaurant.
What a good host.
I mean, that was disgusting.
Host.
That is
restaurant owner.
That's payola, I believe, is what that is. I think you violated the payola laws of podcasting. That's embarrassing. How do you sleep? How do you sleep with that?
With multiple pillows, 4 pillows, one on my neck, one on my head, and then a couple around the arms. Sleep well.
Yeah, you know what they say about people that have a lot of pillows. Yeah.
No, what do they say?
Well, I can't say it here because it's family podcast.
Oh, Jesus! Now you get G-rated. Get out of here.
I'm a family man.
Were we just talking 2 weeks ago about our favorite cuss words? See you next Tuesday was number 1 on our lists.
Yeah. That's the big one. Hold on a sec here. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So anyway, listen.
What were you doing? Are you like going through your phone?
Well, no. I was. You're trying to take care of something here. So I was.
I am happy to report that I did modify our podcast from last week. I had quite a few listeners that sent me emails and said, "What the fuck is that dead rooster in the background doing?" And they had no idea it was Bella. So it was. I changed that stuff around, and now you had a dog that was in some pain, some big pain, major pain, coyote pain.
Yeah. And Bella has never done that before, and obviously since it was very odd. Like the day that we talked about her being attacked by a coyote was the day that she stood outside the studio here barking. it's very, very bizarre.
Yeah.
Very bizarre. I don't quite understand why she did that, but she did, and we survived. I guess it was perfect for that podcast. It wouldn't really work if we had a guest on, hanging out with us, and then there's a dog barking in the background.
It's true.
So now I have gotten a lot of podcast complaints. Do you want to hear the podcast complaint department?
Sure. Let's hear some complaints.
All right. The complaint I've gotten a lot is in the description.
Okay.
For the podcast. When McBain was in here, he would put like the name of the guest and who was on that week on the podcast. People are saying that you don't do that, and so
no, never do that.
But one of the people that wrote in was like, well, that's a mistake because people search. He says, I search through podcasts based on the guest, and if I see a good name, I will then download the podcast.
No.
That was his argument is that if you have a big name, you want to promote it and not make people have to search for it. That was his argument.
Yeah, my counter argument is that you're searching for the hosts, and so whatever content they bring to the podcast and to the shows is good filler. Whether it's their own content, it's a guest, it's a feature, it's an element, whatever it may be, that is all like the sides. Like this is the fillet, we're the beef, and then everything else is the sweet potatoes, the onions, the asparagus, all those sides. They make that work.
Now I'm actually disagree with that. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
All right. The most successful podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can agree on this is the Joe Rogan experience. Yeah. When you go to the Joe Rogan experience, the name of the guest is on every one of those podcasts.
Yeah.
So, and there's some people that like random martial arts people that no one knows who they are. A red belt in jiu-jitsu or somewhere like that will be on there. So if Rogan does it and he's the star of the show, we should do it. I think we should model it after that. We think we should put the name in the headline.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Right.
I think for stragglers, because the way I look at it, I think the people that are fans of like the overnight show and what we do, they're going to listen anyway.
Anyway, yeah.
So you're trying to get people that wouldn't normally listen. There's always those people, and I agree with this guy that emailed because you look, to me, I'm the same way. Like I like certain people, entertainers, or whatever. And if I'll search, I'll be driving. I got a long drive. I'll be like, all right, let me see if I can find a podcast with this person. So I'll type their name in, and if it doesn't pop up, like I'm not gonna go out of my way to listen. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. That's my belief. But that was one of the complaints. I guess McBain just put I didn't even look, but I guess he put the names of the people in there. But anyway, so on
that's not really a complaint. That's just more of a critique.
All right. Well, consider it complaint. It's all. Yeah.
You did not. I have a complaint.
Yeah.
I did not get a phone call from you on Thursday. Thursday I was celebrating a special anniversary. No phone call from you and no congratulations.
Yeah.
A little disappointed, but you missed my birthday in July and now you missed my anniversary in August. It's
well, that's not actually true. I did wish you a happy birthday. You were not available on your birthday, but I did wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I sent you a very nice. In fact, I even sent you a text before anybody else. It was like after midnight, and I sent you a happy birthday.
Did you really?
I did.
What were you doing up?
I couldn't sleep. I had insomnia. Yeah, I couldn't sleep.
I celebrated a 1-year anniversary. So during the pandemic, I was doing a lot of reading, and I read this book called Never Split the Difference, which is written by a FBI hostage negotiator named Chris Voss. And so it's a great book, and it talks about a lot of anecdotal stuff when he was a beat cop, how he got into the FBI, and how he became the lead hostage negotiator. Well, the way that he did that was he was advised to join a local distress and crisis center to become a suicide crisis counselor. I thought that shit was fascinating. And then obviously he's like the top dog for the FBI and dealing with these terrorists from around the world and hostages and negotiations and all that stuff. So I actually read that entire book, was thrilled to read it, and then a month later, I started volunteering in Los Angeles for the National Suicide Prevention Center Crisis Line. And then your wife last year also bought me a book for my birthday called Talking to Strangers, which was fucking awesome. And so it was a perfect compliment. So on Thursday, I celebrated my 1-year anniversary, August the 12th, of working there. So it was pretty
I got
awesome.
a question.
Yeah.
How the fuck am I supposed to know when you started working there?
I don't know,
Seriously.
you could ask.
Like, how would I don't know. You don't send me a list of key dates.
Oh.
It's not like the NFL. The NFL sends me email key dates, the draft, the owners' meetings. I don't have I don't have a list of key dates in David Gascon's life. I don't have that.
Should I do that? Should I just make up fake like PR events in the year for Ben Maller? Should I do that? Should I just
Yeah. Well, you know that would not be the worst possible
That'd be so
scenario. That would not be the worst possible scenario.
key dates of the Maller calendar. Now, does that mean I'd have to include attempted request to attend an LA Rams game, attempted request to go to a Seahawks game? Like, do I have to put those in there?
Yeah. Well, and remember that I was injured because the Rams did not allow me to go to the game
Burnt
against
mouth.
Jameis Winston. I stayed
5
home.
picks in that game or turnovers?
Yeah. I stayed home and I made pizza, and I was so excited to eat the pizza watching football. I burned my mouth, and then I did an entire week of network radio on 400 plus radio stations, sounding like Lou Holtz. I had a lisp the entire week. How embarrassing!
I remember that.
Oh my God, my tongue was throbbing. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. That guy, Chris Voss, though.
Yeah.
That you mentioned. My wife had me. She's a big fan of his. And she had
Masterclass.
me. Yeah, she had me watch the master class.
Yeah.
And it very, very interesting how to communicate, and the simple premise that humans want to be accepted and understood, and that's really what it's all about. And
Yeah.
and just being an active listener is the simplest way that you can be part of that. So, and the late night FM DJ voice.
Yeah.
Late night
He's
FM DJ.
he's got smooth, calming pipes, so I could see how people drop their guard with him. It's it's interesting. Like teaching you about mirroring, teaching you about making your first impression last, like literally last in the conversation. Those are some interesting things. I mean, I did sales when I was in my 20s and going to college and playing ball, and so I use that, and then obviously what we do here on the phones, and it's pretty interesting, man. You go through a lot of people that are just in different points in their life, but all have that crisis, and some are magnified during the last couple of years, and others are just relationship things. But you got to take everything seriously because you just never know what's going to happen after you get off the phone with them.
Yeah, no, for sure. So there you go, Chris. I've not read his book, but I did see the master class.
Have you taken any other ones besides that one?
I've looked at a few of them. I haven't. I don't think we have the. I don't know if we have the subscription anymore. It's actually really good stuff. It is. They did I give them credit. I mean, it's not that expensive, and if you have the time, you can learn some really cool things pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, Gordon Ramsay does a lot of his cooking stuff on there, doesn't he?
There's a bunch of different chefs on there. There's magicians teaching you how to do. I think Penn and Teller did some stuff how to do magic and just random things.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool. Oh. So anyway, on this podcast we have done in by a piece of paper, Gastastic, and then if we have time, we'll have some pop quiz. So we'll see how this goes. But we start with done in by a piece of paper. So last weekend I was running some errands, and I made my weekly pilgrimage to the Holy Land, Costco, to buy a few things. And I remember I purchased water. I had to buy some half and half and some other random assorted crap. And then I went, like most people do, you buy the stuff. You went to the checkout stand. Now, that's all pretty standard operating procedure. So I went to the self-checkout line, which is relatively new at the Costco I'm at. This is like the last 6 months they've added this thing, which I fully support, the self-checkout line. The only problem is Costco's got a lot of big bulky items, so you have to wait for somebody to come over. One time I tried to put the big case of water on the the checkout thing, and it didn't work because I dropped the water. It fell everywhere. It was a big shit show. But anyway, so I did the self-checkout thing. That was wide open. Paid for my stuff. And then I made a beeline to the Costco food court. And I'm a traditionalist when it comes to the food court. So I purchased what I call the timeless Costco meal, which is a slice of pizza, hot dog. Slice of pizza, hot dog. And then I decided I was going to crank things up a couple notches. And I waited until I finished my hot dog slice of pizza. And then I went back to the counter and I got the berry sundae, which I love. Delicious, right? Delicious. The whole meal's like $7, I think now. They raised the price on some of that stuff. The hot dog's the same price. Everything else, they raised the price. So it was like $7, $8, whatever, fine. So I'm wrapping up a very nice meal on a Saturday afternoon. I then head for the exit. So remember, I have the water, the half and half, some other random stuff. And as I'm waiting online, when you leave Costco, you have to have your receipt. Like they mark your receipt when you leave out the front of Costco. So as I get closer and closer, I put my right hand into my pocket to get out the receipt. And so I pull out the receipt, and it was the receipt for the berry sundae that I just purchased, which I don't need to use that. So then I reach back in my pocket thinking, well, I got to get the other receipt. And this is where something went terribly wrong. So I had somehow, in my haste, I had thrown away the receipt that I needed to exit Costco. I just accidentally thrown it away, and I didn't even realize I was doing it when I was throwing away some of the other trash. And so when I reached in the shorts to grab the receipt, it was nowhere. It was nowhere to be seen. So I had accidentally tossed it in the trash can. So I went back. My first move was like, oh, crap, I got to get out of here. So I went back, and I do admit I opened up the trash where I had thrown stuff away, and I thought, well, I'll just reach in there and get it out and all that stuff. And so I did that, and then, well, unfortunately, there was so much new food on top, I could not find the piece of paper. I felt really pathetic dumpster diving at Costco or trash diving at Costco. So then I made the walk of shame. I was left no option. Made the walk of shame back to the self-service teller area, and a nice woman that works at Costco felt pity on me. And apparently this is not unnormal. Like, this happens quite a bit. And I'm not in the minority on this. And so they knew exactly what to do. She directed me to the back room at Costco, the famous back room where all the bookkeeping is done. And I went back there and I handed them my Costco card, and bam, within 5 minutes, I had a copy of my receipt, and I was able to exit stage right.
It's pretty remarkable. All in all,
you.
how much time do you think you spent in there doing all that?
Well, it was the actual, once I went and asked for help, it didn't take that long, but I spent a lot of time retracing my steps, thinking maybe it had fallen out of my pocket where I was sitting. Then I was like, well, I must have thrown it away when I threw away the hot dog wrapper and the mustard container and all that. And so I was retracing my steps, but I don't know, it was maybe like 15 minutes or something. It wasn't that long, but it was just embarrassing. I'm a grown-ass man, and I've done this song and dance a million times, and to have to go back and ask for another receipt, I felt like such a Mama Luke. I was like, what am I doing here?
Got a lot of things happen to you at Costco. This just adds to it.
Yeah. Well, I spent a lot of time there. I spent a lot of time at Costco, and I had I have 3 Costco-related stories that my grandfather would say I'm such a hazer that I deserve this, which is Yiddish for pig. So that I had some time because I had to come down to the house I'm moving to, and I had to wait. My wife wanted me to wait for a delivery. She was very concerned the delivery would not be made unless I was there. But this was at like 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday. And I usually go to bed at like 7 or 7:30. So this was like completely flipping my schedule around. But she wanted me to do it. She was working, so I did it. So I went down there, and I get there right at the window for delivery was between 8:30 and like, I think it was like 8:30 and like 1 or something like that. But as soon as I get there, the truck's pulling up to make the delivery. But I had scheduled a lunch for like 1 o'clock in the afternoon with a buddy of mine. So I then had a bunch of time to kill because I did not expect them to show up that early. I thought I was just going to be there waiting, and then once they show up, then I'd have a little bit of time because I'd be, I was on watch, and so so I made. There's like 3 Costco's around that house where I'm moving to.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should admit this, but I decided, you know what? Let me do a Costco sample run to all 3. All 3. I'll run the gauntlet. I'll run the marathon. So I did, but here's the problem. I was in my fasting window, so I couldn't eat the samples.
Oh, my God.
I had to wait because I fast for at least, I try to do at least 17, 18 a day. I usually do closer to 24. A couple times during the week, I'll do like 40-plus hours, whatever. So I had to wait. But the cool thing now, because of COVID, they handed out the samples, and they were all in like these little paper bag type things and all that. So I was like, fine. And I took the samples from the first Costco, put them in the car, put them in the back seat so I wouldn't be tempted to eat them. Went to the second Costco, same thing. Had a few better samples at that place. Same deal, put them in the back. Now, at this Costco, they had some that were not in bags. They were in those like little paper, the paper things, like the chocolate almond things they'll put in. So I had some of those. All right, fine. I'm doing pretty good. I have killed it on the Costco samples. So then I go to the third Costco, and I'm at this one, and more of the same. And so I'm like, oh man, and the whole back seat behind the driver filled with Costco samples. But it's too early in the morning. By this time, it's probably like 10:30 in the morning, whatever. So whatever. I put them all back there, and I'm like, I'm not going to be tempted either. So then I go, and I had to run a few more errands. I just did some random shopping. And then it was time for me. I had reached the point where I was going to end my fast. And so I went to eat the samples, and much to my horror, it had gotten very hot between the time that I had put the samples back there in the morning until the afternoon. And there was a big portion of the back seat of the Malamobile that had turned a milky brown color from the milk chocolate that had melted and been infused to the back seat of the car. So, yeah, that was my Costco sample run gone bad.
Did you happen to take a picture of it?
After all that planning, it's happening. Your DIY closet renovation is finally becoming a reality. Question is, where do you put your things while you work? CubeSmart has you covered with month-to-month leases and self-storage solutions that make it easier to get organized. Online or in person, getting self-storage is convenient and fast. And because DIY renovations can easily go over budget, it's great that CubeSmart is offering up to 25% off your monthly rent. Say goodbye to before and hello to after with CubeSmart Self-Storage. Visit CubeSmart.com for more details.
Hear the voices of the streets of West Oakland, California come alive on The Lower Bottoms, a full cast scripted podcast. You'll hear a darkly comic tale about the people of this quickly gentrifying neighborhood.
The Lower Bottoms, being a small neighborhood, often lends itself to serendipitous encounters between friends, acquaintances, and adversaries. Such was the case for Shantae at the end of her second week at the house. She hadn't a cent to her name, but that would not stop her from getting money.
With an all-star cast featuring Ryan Destiny, Theo Rossi, Kelsey Grammer, and more.
What's good, people? Hey, that's beautiful, y'all. Hope everybody having a good time. I know I am.
So go on, take a trip out to the Lower Bottoms.
I want answers. I want to know why my sister is lying in a bed comatose.
Let me show you. This Friday, the old 16th Street train station.
Why there?
Because it's where you're going to be reborn.
Listen to The Lower Bottoms on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Switching to Geico is a good idea, especially when you consider everything.
First off, Geico makes it easy to switch. They have licensed agents available 24/7 online or over the phone.
But if it's so easy, you might start thinking everything is easy, even big wave surfing. And it's not. It's actually quite difficult.
Well, if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds on car insurance. And you could keep saving by bundling your motorcycle, boat, and RV, plus your home or renter's insurance.
But saving money might lead you to make some questionable purchases, like a 20-foot feather boa. And do you know how hard it is to clean a 20-foot feather boa?
Well, they do have an industry-leading mobile app you can use to pay your bill, file and manage a claim, or add a new driver.
But when life gets a little easier, it makes you too confident. And you start calling everyone Ace. And you're better than that.
Well, Geico has a 97% customer satisfaction rating and has been saving people money for 85 years. It's hard to beat that.
But you're right.
Switch to Geico. It's obviously a good idea.
Be sure to catch live editions of The Ben Maller Show weekdays at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific. Be sure to catch live editions of The Ben Maller Show weekdays at 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio and the iHeartRadio app.
I did not. It did look very similar to the bathroom when I had my famous gallbladder when I was out walking and I couldn't make it to the bathroom. And actually, that's not actually true. I did make it to the bathroom. I just misfired. The torpedo did not strike the bullseye. The torpedo, the submarine went the other direction. So it did not go where it was supposed to go, unfortunately.
How long did it take you to clean out the back seat?
Well, I immediately had a few napkins, so I tried to rub as much of it off as I could. I was standing there. People must have thought I was Looney Tunes because I went in there. I took a bunch of napkins. They were all crusted in milk chocolate, like it's warm milk chocolate. And then I poured water because I had some water. I poured water over it, took some more napkins. I actually did a pretty good job on that alone.
Yeah.
Because it was still warm and it hadn't dried or anything like that. But there's still remnants of it even to today. I got to get my car like professionally
detailed.
Detailed, yeah, and that'll take care of it. I mean, I figure it's chocolate. It'll come out at some point, right? You figure that'll be the case, I think?
Yeah, it should. It will. But
yeah. Well, that's it. Well, that's a lesson. See, I was hoarding Costco samples, and I didn't eat them right away, and that's what happened.
Any chance in the future I could just, borrow one of your Costco cards for some cheaper gas?
Oh, you don't have a Costco membership?
I do not, no.
Oh, well, speaking of that, I'm glad you brought that up.
Is there a cheat code?
Well, no, I don't have a cheat code, but I have a gas-tastic story.
All right.
So I know this is all Costco all the time. You give me 20 minutes, I'll give you nothing but Costco. So I was getting gas at Costco. Same weekend I had the sample run. Same weekend I lost my receipt. So I'm getting gas at Costco. I do this at least once a week, probably twice a week.
All right.
I get my wife gas and I get myself gas. So now typically I try to go to Costco in the morning. Little hack for you, life hack.
But weekend morning, right?
No, I'll go during the week.
Okay.
I'll go because if you go, the gas station near me opens at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
So if you go right when it opens, boom, right. There's no waiting online.
Yeah.
You beat the rush. There's usually a few guys that are tradesmen that drive like pickup trucks that are plumbers or carpenters, and they're there. But there's not a long wait. And so every once in a while I'll go regular hours. And last weekend was one of those days, and it was a long, winding road waiting online. And when I finally got to the front of the line and I got to the point of pumping the gas, the guy that works at Costco Gas was there. And so now I'm a bit of an introvert. I don't normally start conversations with random strangers, but for some reason I was curious. Curiosity killed the cat. So I was like, well, this guy's here. He's the guy that would have the answer. And I was looking at this long line, and every time I have gone by Costco, for the last 3 or 4 months, there has been a long line going out to the street for people buying gas. So the guy is working, doing his thing. He's kind of observing. So I say, hey, I got a question for you. Very nice gentleman, wearing the Costco gas hat, the whole thing. Oh, it was just a Costco hat, but he was wearing the gas hat. So being the curious cat that I am, I asked the guy, I said, how many cars do you get a day on average? Every time I drive by here, there is an insane amount of cars. And it doesn't matter whether it's here or any of the random Costco gas stations I've been to. And, certainly where I am now near the halfway house of the Maller Mansion. And his answer blew me away. How many cars do you think a single Costco out in suburbia gets per day?
I'm going to say 1,200.
12, that's a lot of cars, right? That's a ton of cars.
Yeah.
According to his number, he said the average per day number of cars that goes through the Costco gas station, 3,800.
Oh my God.
Per day.
Holy shit.
Per day. Oh. And he told me how much gas they go through per day. This also blew me away. Again, this is just a single gas station at Costco, not 2 or 3, just one single gas station.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 10,000 gallons.
Not even close. How about 40 to 45,000 gallons a day?
Oh shit.
Of gas. So I did some Maller math on this. If the guy is correct, and he had no reason to lie to me, he didn't know who I was. I didn't know who he was. He was just whatever.
Yeah.
That means based on a traditional 355-day calendar, right? Based on that, then the math on this. So 3,800 cars per day times each day of the year, but I did 355 actually because they're closed like 10 days, so I didn't do the 365. I did 355. So that's the math. That's why I did the math on that. So it's 1,350,000, roughly 350,000 cars per year, based on that. And again, discounting the days they're not open, the random holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, the 4th of July. New Year's, a few others. So, and then that also, the math on that equals over 14 million gallons of gas per year for one single Costco, just random Costco. That just blew me away.
Well, here's the other thing that will be fascinating with your story now.
Yeah,
I am looking. I say this tongue-in-cheek, I am looking forward to what happens here in the near future when we, as Americans, start getting taxed to drive.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
I do.
I don't. They'll just add another gas tax is what they'll do. They'll add more to the gas
Do you trust our government?
I don't trust the government, but that would upset a hell of a lot of people. Everybody. That would be bipartisan anger, I would think, because for most people, you don't have any other way to go around other than driving.
Yeah.
It's not like if you're in Manhattan, you can take public transportation. Maybe you'll get shanked. Maybe you won't. But
Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston, New York, D.C., you get around via public transportation.
No, but not even D.C. Like a lot of the political class live outside the Beltway and they drive in from Maryland or Virginia. So you'd be affecting all of those people.
Yeah, but they usually have like government paid for accounts, probably, right? Like you're going to have some kind of fringe benefits with those government positions.
Yeah, I don't. I'm going to be Benny Brightside on this one. I do not think they're going to charge per mile.
We're idiots, though. Californians voted for a tax a couple years ago. Don't you remember that?
No, well, Californians are idiots. And I feel bad for our friends in Texas and in Tennessee because the Californian voter is moving to your state, and they're going to bring the same disease to your state.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Any proposition that raises taxes, I vote no on.
Yeah.
And my neighbors, my brothers and sisters that live around me, all vote yes on them.
Yeah.
And the way they sell them, it's the old boiling frog. It's just, it's a temporary increase. It's for the children.
Right.
It's for the children. Or it's for some pulling the heartstrings group, and then people always inevitably, in California in particular, they always vote yes on them. These things never go away. Once they raise the tax, it never goes away.
Right.
It's
no need to. You've already fleeced the public.
Yeah. So a national gas tax, no. Well, the Republicans wouldn't vote for it. All you need is a few Democrats not to vote for it. And
we had 19 senators that voted for it, though, with the infrastructure bill because they approved a case testing of such. So Pete Buttigieg has this commission right now for the Department of Transportation. He's looking into that, and obviously it's a way to push electric vehicles in and move gas-powered automotive vehicles out.
Well, all right, but even that, 19 is less than 20% of the 100 senators representing the 50 states. So that's 20%. You would need more. You'd need another. Does it have to be over 50%, or does it have to be like a 75%?
Well, but the thing is, though, is that you had all the Democrats jump on board, and then 19 Republican senators. And they got it passed by the House of Representatives, so this thing's done and done, man. Like not the tax yet, but it's like the commission to explore the opportunity of taxing the public on this. So,
yeah. I believe it will not end up happening. I think there'll be too much fallout for that because you're really going to be hurting the poor people more than the rich people.
They don't
rich
care,
people
though.
Can afford it.
They don't care.
Well, I thought the Democrats, their whole talking point was we're looking out for the little guy. That's what they sell it as every time, right? That they're
but then you have the Republicans that are the same way. Like, well, we're defending the middle class, and it's like, well, bullshit, you are. I think
it would be a tax on the poor people who can't afford it and have to drive. And they can't afford fuel-efficient cars, which, all
and
that
that's
stuff.
the kicker then, because if they can't afford it, then guess what you're doing? Now you're going to rely on the government to help you out. And that's exactly what they want. Like, it is a...
I don't think it's going to happen. You're a negative person. I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm positive.
I just see it more and more now with where we're going, how, like, the split in the three-tier society that we live in, upper class, middle, and lower, is just... the middle class is getting wiped out. That's exactly what's happening. And so you're either relying on the government or you're making it on your own, and you're actually making some good coin.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, it's time for today's STEM tip. Want to know how to make your selfies even better? Okay, let's use science. The best time for photos is golden hour. That's the moment right before the sun sets, when the atmosphere scatters blue and violet wavelengths, making perfect, soft, and golden selfie light to show off that beautiful face of yours. Click. Check out Chic and STEM for more inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
I want to get back to being in my community group.
I want to continue having a soccer season.
So I can throw parties again.
So I can go to her parties.
It'd really be nice to dine in instead of getting delivery for a change.
So I can feel safe and protected for myself and my students.
We each have our own reason for why we're getting vaccinated against COVID-19. What will yours be? Visit getvaccineanswers.org for information on the COVID-19 vaccines. It's up to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Yeah. All right. We have a little time for pop quiz. We'll do a few of these real quick. Here we go. Pop quiz. We'll see what we can get to. On average, moms spend 55 minutes a week doing this. What is it? My mom used to do this, but then she finally gave up.
Making their kids eat the rest of their dinner. Eat their vegetables.
No. Ironing their kids' clothes.
Oh, just throw it in the dryer, man.
Yeah, my mom, I remember her with the ironing board out when I was little, and she occasionally would burn herself with the iron, and she was always freaking out because us kids, were bouncing all over the place. We were going to get hurt with the iron, and she'd always give us like the 10-minute speech about how this will kill you and burn you and all that. And then she eventually just gave up and said, it doesn't matter. And I agree with her, giving up on that. I don't even own an ironing. We don't have an ironing board or an iron here.
Oh, my God.
Where we live.
There's actually something that you guys have recently got that I need to bring up too. So you gotta let me know when I can do that.
I don't know what we've gotten. All right. Anyway, it's hard to believe, but over half of us say we never do this during the summer. What is it?
Go to the beach.
No. Well, there's a lot of people that don't live near a beach.
Go in the water.
No. Wear sunscreen.
Oh. Yeah. I don't do that. I got a bad habit of not doing that. Or even face lotion, because here, it gets dry and, yeah.
Yeah, I have to wear sunscreen. I hate when I don't mind necessarily being burned in the middle part of my arms or my legs, but the thing that I hate is the joints. My knee and my elbow. I've had some really bad sunburns on my elbow, like inside of my elbow. And every time you move your arm, it freaking hurts.
Yeah.
It sucks, man. So I always make sure to cover that. And the back of my neck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't necessarily cover all of me in suntan lotion, so I guess I could get a really awkward sunburn based on that.
You're
But
pasty
anyway,
white, too, so.
I don't know what you're talking about. I am a beautiful shade of whiteness.
That's right.
It's a part of being nocturnal, man. You don't get the sun. All right, anyway, 35% of people in a new survey said they do this at work to try to get a promotion.
They look at competing companies online.
No, they work overtime.
Oh.
Yeah. I did that when I first started at Fox Sports Radio. For the first 9 years of Fox Sports Radio, I worked every holiday, every shift.
Yeah.
Any time they called me, I worked. Now, I did that because I wanted to get promoted, but I also thought that would be great job security. And then on January 20th of 2009, I got whacked. And I said, okay, it doesn't matter that I worked every holiday, and it doesn't matter that I worked every time they called me, even if I had an event with my family or my friends, I canceled it to work. So I still work a lot of holidays, but if I have plans, I don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to get rid of you. I learned in corporate America, we are just a number on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you are. And you like to think you're more important than that, but no. Really at the end, if your salary gets too high, or they can find somebody cheaper, or they need to save a couple of bucks, you're gone. That's just how it works.
Yeah, that and cronyism.
Well, that also does play in. All right. A new survey finds 80% of global organizations expect to experience this in the next year.
Automation.
No, a breach of customer records.
Oh, all right.
Russian hacking.
Yeah, Russians.
Or North Koreans.
Maybe the FBI. I mean, they'll just the FBI will just tap into your phone.
Yeah. All right. Calm down, tinfoil hat man.
It's not. Apple admitted to it.
Yeah. All right. 86% of parents surveyed said they have at least one of these in the family. I think it's higher than 86%.
A criminal.
A criminal.
86%. Yeah. I don't know.
Picky eater.
Oh.
Picky eater. Yeah. I'm not going to. I was a picky eater.
Were you?
Yeah, I was. All right. We have another study. I'll do a couple studies real quick. We'll get out of here. All right. So at escort services, strip clubs, according to a new study, they actually help reduce sex crimes.
I believe that.
Yeah, I do too. Now, there was this counter argument that you can't, strip clubs are terrible for the community and, the escorts and all that stuff. But according to a study out of Princeton, New Jersey, they claim that strip clubs and professional women of the night, floozies or whatever you want to call them, that there's a significant drop in sex crimes. According to the study, researchers say that they have shown that opening adult entertainment venues like strip clubs, escort services, adult bookshops, and adult theaters even actually caused a decrease in the number of sex-related crimes that were committed nearby.
Yeah.
They found the presence of the adult entertainment led to a 13% reduction in sex crimes in the area 1 week after the opening, and there was a bunch of other stuff here in the study. But that makes sense, right? 'Cause a lot of people need how do we say release, Gascon, right?
Yeah.
So if they can't find somebody else to spend time with, then they got to go somewhere and get a professional.
Yeah, it's like the instant crack pipe. They just they want the hit and that's it. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
That is intriguing. Let's see here. What else do we have? We'll do one more. What's a good one here? Let's see. Page down. This one's. I thought this was very interesting from earlier this week. That billboards in space. Did you see this one?
I heard a little something of it.
Yeah. SpaceX, the Tesla folks, SpaceX and a Canadian startup group are going to turn space into a billboard. Yeah.
I'm so happy I dipped into Tesla stock. Really happy about that.
Elon Musk taking advertising to space on a small satellite aboard the Falcon 9 rocket. And now it's not going to feature the classic advertising billboard that we see around town. The ads will run on a pixelated digital screen on a satellite called CubeSat. Okay, this is out of Calgary, and they go through all the details on how this is going to work here.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah. What do they do? Like Santa Barbara, one of my favorite places to visit, Santa Barbara. They have no billboards. You're not allowed to have billboards in Santa Barbara proper.
That's great.
Are they gonna cover the sky so you can't see the heavens, the cosmos out there because of this?
Man, that's interesting.
You imagine you're driving. I guess they can really only do this at night, right? I would think, right, for it to have the full proper effect. I guess you could. How would it work during the day?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Well, there's a will, there's a way. I mean, I guess you can darken the lights, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty out there, though. Literally and figuratively speaking.
It says since pixels are too small to be seen from Earth or from space, a selfie stick on the CubeSat will capture the image. Oh, so they're gonna live stream it on YouTube? Or I don't know.
Maybe like the Discovery or NASA channel.
Yeah. I have to read more about this, but that's what we do. One thing we need is more advertising. That's what we need. We're in the advertising business.
More programming, right? More programming of the mind.
Yeah. All right. Well, that will do it for the Saturday program. We got the mailbag. We'll go deep inside the mailbag. Letters. We get letters. We got to find that song. You know that old letter song from the Letterman show?
I do.
We got to get a copy of that. Play that for the big open.
Can't. We had a giant email sent to us last year about playing even a second. Because on radio, terrestrial radio, you can play up to 7 seconds, I believe. But you can't.
It's more than 7. It's actually, you can play depends on how much you pay to ASCAP, but it's it's like a minute or something like that for talk radio.
Gotcha.
45 seconds to a minute, something like that.
Well, on the podcast, you can't even play a second. You get tagged. I guess someone had done that, not with Fox, but with a with one of our FM affiliates, and they got slapped with a hefty fine.
Okay. Well,
not good.
Well, we can play the Maller original tunes. We're allowed to play that because those are listeners sent in, and they gave us their blessing to play the songs.
That's true.
So if we have a listener, one of our very talented musicians in the Maller Militia that writes a little letter song, we get letters. Do whatever we want. Be creative. We can play that every Sunday on the podcast.
I mean, if Jay Scoop does it, I'm good. But if it's anybody else, fuck him.
What are you talking about? We have Raz quit the band is great. The guy in Ohio that he was wonderful. The guy in Maine with the blues song. The Richmond, Virginia did a battle hymn of the Maller Militia. Wonderful.
I'm usually asleep during that shit show, but Jay Scoop I'll stay up for.
Wow, you're really sucking up to Jay Scoop. I don't know why you would be doing that.
Listen, maybe he's buying me a first-class ticket up to Seattle. You never know, man.
Well,
it could be. What's good for Mal is good for me, right?
Well, if you were good at your job, maybe he would. I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, listen, have a great rest of your Saturday, and we will catch you on Sunday. Aloha.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
My dad used to say that.
Sure, yeah. It's from Geico.
Yeah, whenever I would ask my dad for life advice, he'd sit me down and say, son, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. And look at me now, a well-adjusted adult with a drawer full of plastic bags I'll never use.
Okay, I'm confused. Was your dad a licensed Geico agent?
Nah, he was just a real good dad.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Hey guys, it's Brian Baumgartner, and you do not want to miss the next episodes of The Office Deep Dive.
Billie Eilish is calling in right now if you want to say hello to her.
Really?
She really is.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure.
Listen to The Office Deep Dive on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you have a phone and the free iHeartRadio app, you have thousands of podcasts on demand that you can binge anytime you want, from anywhere you want to listen. We love music too, so we curated hundreds of playlists to fit any mood or activity. And of course, you can bring your favorite radio stations with you wherever you bring your phone. Only on the iHeartRadio app, #1 for music, radio, and podcasts. All in one app.